Perfect. Okay. Well, good morning and welcome to the May 28th, 2025 meeting of the ERCA Executive Committee. I will call the meeting to order. We have regrets this morning from Karen McKenzie, and Tanya Jobin will be joining us shortly, hopefully. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging that this land is the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, comprised of the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi peoples. We value the significant historical and contemporary contributes of local and regional First Nations and all of the original of Turtle Islands, North America, who have been living and working on the land in time immemorial. Please raise your hand to indicate if there are any members who need to declare a conflict of interest. Seeing none, we can proceed with the agenda and the Essex Region Conservation Authority Executive Committee. I need a motion that the agenda from May 28th meeting of the ERCA Executive Committee be approved. Moved by Larry Verbicki, seconded by Jim Morrison. All those in favor? Okay. We have hearings scheduled this evening as a result, or this morning as a result. I require a motion that the Executive Committee sit as a hearing board in respect to an application under Section 28.1 of the Conservation Authorities Act. Moved by Jim Morrison, seconded by Larry Verbicki. Any opposed? And that's carried. We are now going to conduct hearings under Section 28.1 of the Conservation Authorities Act in respect to 3 applications. We, as a hearing board, are unaware of the matters being brought forward, and we are only now receiving and reviewing information provided by staff on this day. The Authorities Administration Regulation under Part 6 of the Conservation Authorities Act, which requires the permission of the authority to develop within an area regulated by authority, in order to ensure no adverse effects on the control of flooding, erosion, dynamic beaches, or unstable soils or bedrock, or permit alterations to shoreline or water course to interfere with a wetland. Staff has reviewed the proposed works of the copy of the staff report has been given to the applicant. The Conservation Authorities Act, Section 28.1, subsection 3 provides that an authority shall not refuse an application for a permit or attach conditions of a permit unless the application for that permit has been given an opportunity to be heard by the authority. In these hearings, the authority board is determining whether or not a permit. In doing so, we can only consider the application in the form of for the staff report, such evidence as may be given, and the submission that may be applicant.
Madam Chair, sorry to interrupt. Could you shut your camera off? Your internet is breaking up.
Perfect.
Sorry to interrupt, Madam Chair.
No worries. And I moved buttons, so just give me a moment.
Okay.
There we go. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. So the the proceedings will be conducted according to the Statutory Powers Procedure Act. Under Section 5 of the Canada Evidence Act, a witness may refuse to answer any questions on the ground that the answer may tend to criminate that person or may tend to establish his or her liability to a civil proceeding at instance of the Crown or any persons. The procedure in general shall be informal. However, this is a quasi-judicial process and provides the evidence to be given in response to members' questions. Therefore, staff and applicants will be asked to swear on an oath or provide an affirmation to speak the truth. In accordance with the Act, an applicant who has been refused permission or who objects the on a permission may appeal permission or grant permission with or without condition. If the application has any questions to ask the hearing board or of the authority representative, they must be directed to the chair of the board. As a reminder, the hearings will be conducted in accordance with approved hearing guidelines. We, as a hearing board, will question both of the staff and the applicant. Before I ask Dan, regulation coordinator, I would ask that you swear an oath or provide an affirmation to speak the truth for the duration of the hearing board.
Affirmation, please, Madam Chair.
Do you solemnly affirm that the evidence that you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
I do.
All right, so Mr. Jenner, please proceed with the first application.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and everyone for being here this morning. We do have 3 applications that will be before you this morning, and we have 2 of our applicants here as well, or technically 3. The first application that's going to be brought forward is by Andrew Lennon of Lennon Developments, and it's located at 131 Sheen Street in the town of Tecumseh. Next slide, please. So we can see the Tecumseh-Windsor border there on the kind of left side of the map, as well as the blue representing the 100-year floodplain, and then the property itself highlighted in black. Next slide, please. We have received an application for permit, file number 0905-25 by our applicant, Andrew Lennon, for the property located at 131 Sheen Street in the town of Tecumseh, proposing to construct a new dwelling. Purpose of the hearing this morning is to request relief from the access, ingress, and egress policy requirements. This property is located in the Bell River to Detroit River section of shoreline with a flood protection standard of 176.60 Geodetic Survey Canada. We have a raw 100-year flood level, 176.30, an ERCA minimum road elevation of 176.0, and a provincial minimum road elevation of 175.80. And that provincial minimum road elevation, again, allows for half a meter of water over the roadway. Next slide, please. We can see there the safest access route, which is north on Sheen Street and then east on Riverside Drive, with only a small portion of the route being below the provincial minimum by approximately 8 centimeters and 1 foot below the ERCA minimum levels. The roadway in this area is fully delineated, and the area itself is considered to be fully developed. As you're aware, emergency first responders at the town of Tecumseh are prepared. They have specialized equipment and emergency response plans in place, and we are meeting all of the regulatory standards, such as the flood protection standard with this development. So with that, next slide, please. Administration is recommending that the application from Andrew Lennon, Lennon Developments, to request relief from the access, ingress, and egress policy requirements to construct a new dwelling at 131 Sheen Street in the town of Tecumseh be approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jenner. Does the applicant wish to provide evidence in support of their application?
No, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So the motion is on the screen. I need a mover. Okay, Larry Verbicki, seconded by Jim Morrison. Any opposed? And that carries. Okay, so next is the application number 2. Mr. Jenner?
Thank you, everyone. The second application is by Mark and Jody Holler at 10654 St. Clair Road in the municipality of Lakeshore, and we do have Mark and Jody with us this morning. So you can see the property highlighted there with the black circle out in the Stony Point area. Next slide, please. We have received an application for permit, file number 1041-25 by Mark and Jody Holler for the subject property at 10654 St. Clair Road in the municipality of Lakeshore. And the proposal is to construct a new dwelling as well as a detached accessory structure. We are again seeking relief from the access, ingress, and egress policy requirements. Next slide, please. This particular property is located in the Thames River to Stony Point section of shoreline with a floodproofing elevation or flood protection standard of 176.7 meters, which includes our board-approved freeboard. The house structure will be exceeding that elevation on the lakeside, and the detached structure is being constructed at that full flood protection standard. We have a minimum road elevation based on ERCA policy of 176.10 meters and a provincial minimum of 175.9 meters. Next slide, please. The roadway leading up to this property is approximately 44 centimeters below the provincial minimum and about 64 centimeters or 2 feet below the ERCA minimum. However, the road is delineated and the area is fully developed. This is a redevelopment of an existing property that contains a residence, and we have received confirmation from emergency first responders at the municipality of Lakeshore that they can access this property in this area. And that's due to the fact that the residential portions of the property are actually above the 100-year floodplain for that red section, with the roadway being the primary issue. So we're confident, and emergency first responders are confident that they can access this property. So with that, next slide, please. We are recommending that the application from Mark and Jody Holler to request relief from access, ingress, and egress policy requirements to construct a new dwelling and detached accessory structure at 10654 St. Clair Road in the municipality of Lakeshore be approved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jenner. Does the applicant wish to? Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
okay. Does the applicant wish to provide evidence to support in their applications? None. Okay, and is there any questions or a motion? Oh, Councillor Jim Morrison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And maybe to Mr. Jenner, through you to Mr. Jenner, that map shows this property right on the edge of the map that you showed us. So going off this map, is that roadway, does it continue to stay red, or does it is this just one section that's below our standards? I don't know if you want to refer back to the map on your presentation or not.
So we terminate, through you, Madam Chair, we terminate the red, green, yellow. If we were to go east out of this area, it stays green or high. And then if we were to go west, there's only about 6 or 7 more properties there. And the road actually does get a little bit higher. I don't know if it's would be red or yellow, but it does actually get a bit higher towards the turnaround where our Ruscombe Shores conservation area is.
Thank you.
Tremblay Beach.
Tremblay Beach, yes, my apologies.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll move the recommendation.
Jim Morrison moves, seconded by Larry Verbeke. Any
Madam Chair, the haulers had stated something, but their microphone was muted.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not notice they were talking. Would you like to supply?
Other way, Mark. Unmute yourself.
You just
muted yourself.
Unmute
there.
Is
you
that
go.
better?
There we go.
Yeah.
No, we're good with everything.
Okay,
Right.
wonderful. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So we have a mover and a seconder. Is there any opposed? And that carries. Okay, and on to application number 3, Mr. Jenner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our third application that's being brought before the hearing committee this morning is actually made by the town of Tecumseh, care of Mike Smithson, and it is located on Riverside Drive in the town of Tecumseh. It is known as Lakewood Park. Next slide, please. So we have received an application for permit, file number 0888-25, received by the town of Tecumseh for the Lakewood Park. The proposed project is, in this case, to construct a new public washroom facility, as well as some other landscaping type features. And the purpose of this hearing is actually requesting relief from 0.15 meters or 6 inches, which is half of the freeboard component of the flood protection standards. Next slide, please. We're again back in the town of Tecumseh in the Bell River to Detroit River section of shoreline with a raw 100-year flood level of 176.3 and an ERCA floodproofing elevation, which is a policy requirement of 176.6. And that includes 0.3 meters or 1 foot of freeboard above that raw 100-year flood level. The applicant is proposing a floodproofing elevation of 176.450, which again is seeking relief from only half of that freeboard component. And the proposed use here is going to be a public washroom facility. Next slide, please. So you can see kind of the site there. The washroom facility is up in the top kind of northwest corner of the property, and it's just a small typical washroom facility that you would see in most public parks. Next slide, please. So we are going to be recommending approval of this application. It is fairly, or was fairly routine to waive freeboard components for structures that are non-habitable and not attached to a house. In this case, it's a structure that's fully under the control of the town of Tecumseh, and we are only seeking relief from half of that freeboard component. There is no significant risk with proposing the structure slightly below the standard flood protection, including things like vehicle generated waves. Just due to the location of the property itself, it's not directly on the shoreline. It's not directly adjacent to a major roadway where we could have those waves created. So we are, again, going to recommend that the application from Mike Smithson, Town of Tecumseh, to request relief from 0.15 meters of freeboard from the floodproofing requirement to construct a new structure that is a public washroom at Riverside Drive East, Lakewood Park in the Town of Tecumseh be approved.
Okay, does the applicant wish to provide evidence in support of their application? Seeing none, is there any questions or a motion?
Madam Chair.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Bernie.
Sorry, committee. Dan and or James, can you just enlighten the committee just a little bit more with the significance of this property? It is a Town of Tecumseh owned property, and it has a specific development responsibility, how it was originally developed and what we're dealing with on that. Just very brief. James.
Mr. Bryant.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So that Lakewood Park was designed as originally actually as a flood storage facility through that park for the town, for the East Town Line drain. So we've had to look at a number of different aspects with respect to the development in that area. That includes the coastal flood hazards. We've looked at flood hazards from the East Town Line drain to see what would happen in that park. There was some significant work done by a consulting firm to evaluate any of the impacts as we fill in some of those portions. We've taken a conservative approach on that by removing quite a large portion of even future development area within the Lakewood Park so that we can kind of plan ahead and not have to deal with potential changes in flood levels out there with respect to the East Town Line drain. Banks out there are also stable. They're a 3-to-1 slope as the drain was newly constructed through that area. And as Mr. Jenner has already indicated, all of the elements through that area, all the hazard criteria are being met. And we're waiving 6 inches of freeboard under the guise that it's not a dwelling. There's no vehicle generated wave or wakes through that area. Additionally, as that area develops upstream of the Lakewood Park area, there are a series of stormwater management facilities that are slated to go in the future. And as those elements are constructed, flood levels will continue to drop through the Lakewood Park area. So while we may be waiving 6 inches now, in the future, once fully constructed, there's no flood hazard in the Lakewood Park at all in the future as we proceed through those design elements.
Thanks, James. Thank you, Madam Chair. Also wish to acknowledge other staff that have participated in that study. Adrian and Lena are both on the call. And also I'd like to acknowledge the Town of Tecumseh and the developer who've been working with the town on this. When this issue arose, We had the opportunity to put our heads together to see how we were going to deal with this, to push forward resolve of it. And again, it's a success story that we're here today with this. Thank you, committee.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion? Moved by Larry Verbicki, seconded by Jim Morrison. Any opposed? And that carries. Okay, sorry. So that concludes our hearing board, and we can reconvene as an executive committee. I need a mover.
Move.
Jim Morrison, seconded by Larry Verbicki. Any opposed? And that carries. All right, we are going to move on to the tenders. So Kevin Money will be presenting this tender for the Canard River Dyke Repair Phase 1.
Thank you, committee, and good morning. So today we are tendering what is called the Canard River Wetland Complex Dike Repair, Phase 1. This is a project of what is called the Detroit River Canadian Cleanup Initiative. This is a federal, provincial, and municipal and conservation authority initiative to delist the Detroit River. What I mean by delist is to make significant habitat improvements and or protect the habitats that already exist. This dike repair project is associated with the wetlands that are behind the dike. And the intent of this project is to simply repair and upgrade and make the dike usable for another 50 years in order to preserve the wetlands that are behind it. That is the purpose of this. The project itself is funded exclusively by the federal government. And it is the first phase. The first phase value of the contract is approximately $1.3 million of funding within this fiscal. There are future phases to this particular project, so this will come back again probably in 2 years. With that said, Nicole, are you able to bring up the tender summary sheet? And I'll open envelopes. So we received 4 tenders today from FACA Incorporated, So Shore Contracting, Jones Group, and Nevin Construction. We will open all 4, confirm that they have the security deposits, all the forms are signed, and we'll read out loud the actual tender amounts for each one. Please note that although our process is to award the low bid, all of these bids then go for administrative review. Our engineer is also online today, and he reviews all of the bids to ensure that everything is in order and that the contractors, especially the low bid contractor, is actually qualified, has the appropriate equipment, is sourcing materials according to the specifications, etc. And we will proceed from there. So first, I'm going to be opening FACA Incorporated.
Wish to remind the committee these are all sealed tenders as well.
Bid bond is in place. Tender is signed. Total tender price from FACA, $2,801,835.
835.
Yep, correct. Thank you. So Shore Contracting bid is in place. Tender is signed. Total value from South Shore Contracting, $2,229,716. Correct. Jones Group bid bond is in place. Documents have been signed. Total tender value for Jones Group, $2,428,919.75. Perfect. Bid bond is in place. Tender is signed. Devon Construction price, $3,138,857.50. Correct. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess that the motion on the floor would be that the tender for the River Canard Dike repair phase one in the amount of $229,716 be awarded to the South Shore Contracting, subject to favorable review by administration.
That's correct, Madam Chair.
All right, and can I get a mover?
Move it.
Jim Morrison, seconded by Larry Verbeek. Any opposed? And that carries. Okay, so we have no reports for approval and no committee of a whole. So is there any new business that members wish to raise? Seeing none, the next regular meeting of the ERCA Board of Directors will be held Thursday, June 19th, 2025, starting at 6 p.m. in Council Chambers, Essex Civic Center. As this concludes the business of the executive committee at this time, I need a motion that the May 28th, 2025 meeting of the Essex Region Conservation Authority Executive Committee be adjourned. Moved by
Move it.
Jim Morrison, seconded by Larry Verbeek. Sorry, Larry Verbeek. Any opposed? And that carries. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you, committee.